feel no pity for her whatsoever. Greetings and welcome back to this channel. I'm glad that you decided to stop, that you decided to click and see what we are talking about today. I must admit, I am growing. I am a work in progress. And when I am wrong about something, I do not have a problem with coming back and saying that I was wrong. A video I did a few days ago that had to do with the congratulations of Jonathan Majors and Megan Good. I also spoke about Tia Mowry and her husband Corey, their situation. And within that particular video that I did, I basically condemned Tia for the choices that she has recently made when it came down to her marriage to her husband and letting outside influences influence her to make a decision that doesn't look like it's in her best interest. And instead of empathizing with her, I started to condemn her. It didn't take me long to realize after I had published the video, it gave me a chance to actually reflect. In my reflecting, I said, okay, well, I don't want to be insensitive. I don't want to have this I don't care attitude, because I do care, not because I know her or because I know him or anything like that, but it's just the institution of marriage that is so very important to me. And the institution of marriage is something that I think we need to go back to as a people. Having that type of commitment for a man or for a woman and coming together to build a life, to build a legacy. And I was just very unempathetic when it came down to Tia. I had to reminisce on my own personal life and how I too was raised in a Christian home, how I too had parents that required certain things of me as I was growing up, as they should have. However, there comes a point in time where you are rebellious, especially when there's so many outside pressures and so many outside lust and demands. And sometimes we get caught up in what society has, that we break away from those things which were instilled in us at an early age. And so with that, I had to, and I have to, and what I'm doing now is apologizing for saying I don't care basically what happens to Tia, and that she deserves everything that she gets. The choices that she has made recently over the last couple of years, she's going to have to live with those choices. However, I can't be insensitive knowing what I know about her upbringing. And that is that she was, I believe, raised in a two-parent home. I believe that they were believers and that they also required her to practice her faith. Speaking from experience, you do have a love for God. You do want to serve Him. You do want to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, not just because God said we need to do it this way, but because He is the author and the finisher of our faith and of our life. And if He set certain rules, it's for our own good. Even though we may not be able to see that or feel that or understand that, those are still issues and still things that we have to combat with every day. Fighting against the flesh versus battling with the spirit. It's a constant battle. And so when I was talking about Tia, I had to actually realize that she came from this type of lifestyle to where she had a two-parent home. Not only was there demands on her as a child in the Hollywood realm, but also what her parents expected of her coming up as a believer in Christ. And that's a lot to be said. So she mentions that Corey Hardrict, which is her husband or her ex-husband, how he was her first. How they dated for, I believe, 5 years before she actually was intimate with him after 5 years of dating. And that speaks for him too. You know, I'm not saying that he was faithful or not faithful to her during their dating time, but he practiced restraint when it came down to understanding how she was raised, understanding her values and her morals. So he was a good guy, in understanding that and also working with that when so many outside voices tell you to do otherwise. So with Tia, me saying that she deserves this, that, and the other, I cannot feel like that. I cannot be like that. I can, but that's not the right way to be. I have to practice grace because someone practiced grace with me. Now, as I said, the choices that she made in terms of ending her marriage, me on the outside looking in, that wasn't a wise decision. However, I have to understand that by Corey being her first ever, she had to feel that she was missing something. That's why she felt like she needed to evolve from the marriage itself. And it looks like, based off of interviews that she has done recently, based off of her talk show and things like that, I really believe that she regrets making that type of decision. But what's done is done. Is there hope for them in the future? I don't know. Will Corey give her another chance? I don't know. Does she want another chance? I don't know. But I hate to see happy homes broken up for reasons that conversation and communication probably could have solved. I had a friend, her and her husband got married very early. They were best friends. I believe they were in their late teens, maybe early 20s. He hadn't ever been with a woman before, so she was his first. He was madly in love with his wife, or with his soon-to-be wife. They worked together. They started industries together, and they were each other's best friends. Later on down the line, this particular person felt like she was missing something. Now you have a husband that goes to work 8 hours a day, comes home, works for the family business, for the business that they created together, works diligently in that business, and his only goal was to make sure that she was happy. She had been married for so long, she started to wonder, well, what am I missing? Am I missing out on things? Now, me being the single friend during this time, I never, with any of my friends that had gotten married, I never tried to push me being single on them. If I knew that they were married or if they were in a committed relationship, I'm not going to bring my single friends around them or try to entice them or put them in situations that will cause them to go outside of their marriage. That's just not what I do. But in this particular situation, I was never a threat, doing things that just was not presentable within a marriage. I'm not saying that you have to be dull and dry, but there's certain things that when you are accountable to someone else. Make a long story short, this particular person went outside of their marriage, thought that the grass was greener on the other side, confessed to her husband, let her husband know that, hey, I did this, I'm sorry, it will never happen again. I don't know what I was thinking. And because her husband was so much in love with her and couldn't imagine life without her, he forgave her. Only for a few years down the line did those feelings come back, and she did it again, And so I say all that to say, sometimes when you are in a relationship and you're looking outside the scope of your relationship, you believe that certain people have a freedom of such that you don't have because you are committed to someone else. And that's not the case. You don't know anybody's story. You don't know what someone has to do in order to sustain their lifestyle. And it may look like it's all well, fun, and fine until you put yourself at risk of being alone. Now, there's perks to being single. I'm not saying that there isn't. And there's perks to being married. But when you make those type of commitments, you got to stick with it. You should stick with it. Unless there is some type of immediate danger or your social construct is being compromised. Other than that, you have to kind of honor, or you should honor those vows that you have promised that other person and unto God. I should not have loathe in what is going to be the demise of Tia Mowry, because now I believe that she's doing a lot of reflecting. And I believe, my personal opinion, that if she could go back and turn back the hands of time, knowing what she knows now, I don't even think divorce would have been an option. As I wrap up this video, let me know what you think. But we have to be accountable for the choices that we make. I have not made the best choices in my life when it comes down to certain things. And as a result, when it's time for me to pay back some of those things that I had invested previously, I can't cry about it. I can't make other people miserable because I'm now paying back for something that I could not afford. Those are life choices. And so I'm not going to say that I don't care, because I hope that she figures it out. And so many other people who are just trying to so-called fit in, believing that the grass is greener on the other side. But I was wrong for not being empathetic when it came down to what she probably had going on in her mind. So I can admit when I'm wrong about something, and I should not have taken that approach. But I am praying and hoping that she figures it out, because a good man, that was a stage play before Tyler Perry came out, a good man is hard to find. That's all I have to say about that. Please like, share, and let me know what you think about this particular topic. And I will see you in the next video. May the Most High bless.